Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Rene, a clinical pharmacist specializing in functional medicine, as well as a certified yoga teacher and Reiki master. I run a truly integrative health coaching practice encompassing functional medicine lab testing, yoga and meditation, and a sprinkling of Reiki energy medicine. Join me here on Light Body Radio to break through your health plateau and come into alignment with your natural vitality. Hello and welcome to Light Body Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Lara May, and today I have with me Rene. He is the owner and founder of QEstrong.com, and so we're going to be talking all about that today. As a gifted athlete and runner with a keen interest in health and using food and nutrients to fuel his body. After getting hit by a truck and getting thrown 30 and nearly losing his life and losing his dream of becoming a professional runner, Rob struggled for years with addiction and a lack of clear direction. Through God's guidance, he became a researcher on the takeover of our medical system, frequencies, and quantum energy. And we're going to talk about all of that too. So through his research, he found the quantum energy solutions that are helping people get off of addictive Big Pharma medications. He founded QE Strong, a company dedicated to utilizing unique all-natural solutions to improve people's health, a service greatly needed in our ever-increasing overweight and unhealthy community, which I completely agree with. And so welcome. I'm excited to talk to you.
I'm so glad to be here. Very nice to meet you.
So tell us a little bit more about your story and your journey about you can start anywhere you want, but obviously I want to hear how you really came to be interested in the structure of our medical system, which I agree has been taken over. And then we're definitely going to dive deeper into the frequencies and quantum energy.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. So as the bio mentioned, I have a passion for just health, right? Early on, I loved running, and I was a pretty darn good runner. I'd made the U.S. junior national team, so I was like the second best miler in the country. And did some international running for us. My ultimate goal was to be a professional runner, and so during that time frame, I had to learn how to fuel your body, right? And so I knew how important nutrition was, and I think that was some of my keys to my early success in my running, was because I understood that probably earlier than a lot of people did, about how important the nutrition that you put into your body fuels your body. So that's always been super important to me, and I knew that. But then, life got a hold of me, and I did what I was told when I was young. It was like you need to grow up, and you need to get a good education. You need to go to college, and then you need to get a job, and you need to work at that job, and then you need to, get a savings account, and you need to try to work towards retirement, and then you retire, and you're happily ever after. But it's just like, then the world hit me in the face with the pandemic, and what happened with that. That was like, it was amazing. I was addicted to alcohol during that time. It was just got to the point where it's just like one of those things that I was drinking every day, and it was part of my sales job. I was out traveling with entertaining clients, and it just became a habit. And I was just I wasn't happy. And then the pandemic hit, and I lost my sales job, and I was just like, okay, life is not real good right now. And I was really looking and searching for what I'm about, and then also started learning about what's going on in our world. And my gosh, my brother woke me up to some things that are just amazing. He talks about the mainstream media, mockingbird media. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, but anyway, I started doing research on mockingbird media, and then that led me into the medical research. And so,
Mhm.
health has always been important to me. And at this point, I realized that I needed to get off of alcohol. So I being a strong Christian man of faith, I just said, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. Instead of going through a 12-step program or anything, I'm just going to work hard and use the Lord and my wife's help to get off of alcohol. So I did that, and I was super proud of myself that I was able to be alcohol free without going through a program, and just doing it myself. And then I started getting, exercising again, and started running, and then started to get back into the fueling your body appropriately. And then I started doing research about the pandemic and what's happening. And oh my gosh, what an enlightening time to do that research, in the respect that there was so much going on in the world. And I found a lot of our information is being hidden from the mainstream. So you have to do
Mhm.
really a lot of digging, right,
Yeah, you
on
do. Yeah.
on what's happening. And so I just started digging into our health system, and that's when I was led to the Flexner report. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Flexner report.
No.
Back in the early 1900s, the Rockefellers had owned the all the pharmaceutical, or not all the oil companies. They're obviously
Mhm.
very very wealthy, and what they ended up doing is they hired this gentleman named Flexner, and he created this Flexner report, which is kind of a summary of what's going on with our medical system back in the early 1900s. And the overall report is not that bad, because it was kind of a summary of everything that's going on in our medical system. But however, they used it for, I think, nefarious purposes. They ended up using that report and creating the American Medical Association, and then the medical schools. And at that time in the early 1900s, about 50% of our uh, doctors were all natural doctors, right?
Mhm.
So they would help you with, like what you have learned with functional medicine. It's like your body is amazing. God gave us an amazing system, and if you fuel it correctly and give it the right things, it can do amazing things. It can heal
Mhm.
itself in amazing ways, right? And it's amazing to me that 50% of our medical system back then in the early 1900s was all natural, and then the others were just regular MDs, etc. But what they did with that report was pretty bad, in the respect that they created these medical schools and the medical system that you had to go through their medical school in order to basically get a job. So if you weren't approved, you didn't go to one of their approved medical schools, then it was very difficult for you as a doctor to get a job. And then they really attacked the all natural health doctors. And that have you heard the term quack before? I'm assuming,
Oh, of course, yes.
right? Right. And
Mhm.
guess where
Yeah.
that term came from? That term came from back then, where they literally used lawfare against all natural health doctors, and chiropractors and other all natural health doctors were termed quacks. And
Mm.
so they really went after them hard, and then even prosecuted them if they weren't using their way of medicine. And so, yeah, it's pretty well documented. You can go back and look at the Flexner report, and you look at what happened with those
Mm.
medical schools, and you can look at what happened with all natural health doctors. It was just shocking to me, because I'm just like, holy smokes, I know how all natural health is important to me and my body, and what it's done for me personally, and how it helped me when I was a younger runner. And it was just really frustrating to me to see what had happened with our medical system. And our medical system today is broken, as you may know, the probably better than anybody. But one of the things I did find out through this research too that really frustrated me was I found out that the average senior today is on 12 pharmaceutical prescriptions. And
Mm.
so it's just absolutely phenomenal that there are that many. So I call it, it's basically sick care, where
Mhm.
they help you. The specialist helps you with one problem, and the specialists are great because they really know a problem really, really well, right? But they
Right.
fix that that problem. They give you a prescription for that problem, and then that causes maybe 2 or 3 other issues that are not related to that problem. And then, geez, a few months later, you're like, oh boy, now I've got something else wrong. So you go to another specialist, and another specialist solves that problem with another prescription. And then, by the end of the day, these poor seniors are on an average of 12 different, medications. It's just, it's really sad because there's not somebody like yourself who's really looking at people from a functional perspective and saying, how can I help the person from the core, right? What's the core issues and problems that people are having? And let's
Mhm.
solve that. And then it's going to help everything else. And that's what I have found as just being an amazing, transition from what our medical system was to what it is now. And it's really sad. And it took the pandemic for me to wake up enough to go do that research, to really to dig in and understand how evil things have become. And from my perspective, that's the word I call it, just because I think that it's sad that we aren't treating people in a holistic manner. We're not treating people with all natural health. And so that's been just a huge passion of mine, is
Mhm.
all natural health.
Yeah, I think the pandemic was a great wake-up call for a lot of people, even within, like myself, within the medical community. It's no secret from my perspective, and probably from if you're a regular listener to this show, or if you've heard me on News for the Soul, we talk about it over there too, how, big food and big pharma have really taken over the health care, quote unquote health care, also called sick care. I also call it
Yeah.
band-aid medicine. And but also our education. So big food controls the food system, which is not motivated in any way, shape, or form to give us real, healthy, nutrient dense food. They've completely corrupted and misinformed multiple generations about what is healthy, again, air quotes, healthy, and what we should all be eating. The whole low fat, no fat movement, I think, ruined, at least 2 generations, if not more.
My
Um,
gosh, that's so
and
awesome.
I mean, it's true, especially knowing what we know now. And
Right.
and then, all of that though is, it manipulates how we're educated. And I say we, all the Western medicine practitioners. So if you're a physician, you're a pharmacist, you're a PA, you're a nurse practitioner, any practitioner with an advanced degree and an advanced license to practice is controlled by big food and big pharma through the education system. And
Yeah,
that's just
man.
a
Look,
fact. Like, I don't care what your opinion about that is out there. I love you all and I appreciate you listening, but that is a fact. Like, you cannot deny that they are involved. And so there's that. You can look at it however you want, but so it's it's really disheartening, and that's one of the reasons I went into functional medicine. I had already started my journey of functional medicine education before the pandemic, but for me, it was really the pandemic that really concreted my move out of a completely Western medicine career into really looking at the whole body, and helping people understand that we are a whole body system. Like, you can't just isolate
yeah,
your liver,
yeah,
you can't just isolate your kidneys or your heart and think that everything else is just going to work. Like, our bodies are amazing, and they want to be in a state of balance and homeostasis, and they can really try to do that for a really long time. But after being out of balance for so long, then that's when we start to see the manifestations of inflammation. And it's different for everyone. But then the
man.
other
I'm
thing.
so excited that you're saying all this, because you're repeating everything I like to say, and I love it, because we're on the same page. Everything you're saying is exactly right, and that's what's happened, right? That it's been hijacked. Our
Yeah.
system, I call it the medical cartel, but it really is big pharma, big big food, like you said. Even our food and dwarf wheat, has been, all of the wheat in the United States is turned into dwarf wheat. We can't even get real wheat in the United States. And I think that a lot of our food supply is really, really bad. So I'm just so
Yeah.
excited to physically meet you, Dr. Laura, because what you're saying is in my opinion exactly right. It is a fact. You can research all of this, and it's very well documented, but it's well
Well,
hidden too.
yeah, and I want to say you've said that several times, and I just want to bring a word forward that I don't think is talked about enough, and I think that'll merge us into the whole concept of, you know, uh, hidden. And because throughout the pandemic, we kept hearing the word science. This is science. You have to follow the science. And but it was only a few very specific people slash organizations, science, quote unquote science, that they wanted the public to follow. And that is the definition of scientism, where one um, type or there's an exaggerated trust in the scientific method. And so I think science got manipulated and corrupted, or at least maybe it already was, and it just came to light more during the pandemic. Because, especially as a practitioner in hospitals through the pandemic, at the beginning, we were trying a bunch of different things because we didn't know what worked best. But then it evolved into physicians wanting to try certain protocols or mechanisms and being told no, that is not supported by science. And even if they brought the article with them, sometimes they were still told no, because it wasn't an approved, and I keep using air quotes, and maybe this is one of the
Yeah.
reasons I should use the videos in these episodes, because I'm a hand talker too. So, but it became very frustrating for a lot of practitioners. And if you followed people like Dr. Merkeli is a pretty famous physician now for being silenced and prosecuted, and he was actually helping people not get admitted to the hospital. He was using treatment algorithms that were, again, evidence-based. So this is another
Yeah.
concept, like evidence-based means it's supported by research, peer reviewed usually. And so there's a very high bar usually in Western medicine, where that we decide to use something for treatment and we put it in our evidence-based guidelines and algorithms and protocols. And it just became very apparent to me that there was a very specific agenda, and not all voices were welcome, and not all efforts were going to be tried. And I was very disappointed and disheartened in that, because I came to being a pharmacist from a background of science. I was a biologist and a botanist before I was a pharmacist. And I
Yeah.
was frankly appalled that you had the leaders, and I won't name names, but they were on the news talking a lot, saying some of this was valid and other things weren't. And then some things were labeled very dishonestly as being a horse dewormer. And while that might be one use for that one drug, yes, that's not the only use, and that was never the only use. And that drug is still used very successfully on humans every day, even not in the context of COVID. So
Right.
anyway, I'll let you talk now. I've been talking for too
No,
long. But
no,
I know we sort
I
of got on about, soapboxes, which is fine with me. I'm not opposed to a soapbox.
well, I'm
Because I
glad
think
I'm
it's
glad you
important to
are.
bring all these pieces of it to light, because I do think some of it, if depending on what media outlets you followed, were labeled conspiracy or fringe, or all the things, beyond
Yeah.
quack. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very much a
It's
parallel. Like you said, you brought up that report earlier. I saw a lot of parallels throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think what you said, the pandemic has just shined a bright light on that problem that has been in existence for not hundreds, because well, early 1900s was when it started, and
Hmm.
so It's been going on for a very, very long time. It's just something that you didn't realize until the pandemic brought it out into a spotlight. And so, but that same problem has been going on for a long time. So the people that have an agenda, they can control the science, they can control the research, they control the funding of what does get researched, and then they can do what they want in order to get the right medicine out that they want, that's going to profit them and the people that surround them. So it is a really scary thing that when you realize how controlled it is, and then you also saw how controlled the media is around that data, right? And so it is a scary world that we lived in, and that's where I dug into the research. And I did more research on the body, and understood our body is made up of energy, right? And that energy interacts with external entities like frequencies, and that's where I was learned about quantum energy and frequencies and how they do interact with your body. And that's how I came to found this company, QE Strong, Quantum Energy Strong is what it stands for. Is we have developed these amazing products that use quantum energy. So it's literally a frequency on a skin patch, and then that frequency connects to the energy system in your body, and then helps with certain medical issues. So the one of the things, as I was doing this research as well, was I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Emoto before. Have you heard of Dr. Emoto?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
actually, we teach about him in Reiki.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his experiments are phenomenal and amazing, and it's obviously explains how intentions and other external things like prayer can have a physical impact on rice or on water, and it's actually proven. And he's got amazing documentation, and lots of people have proven his theories and with their own experiments. So anyway, that understanding was phenomenal. I loved it. So go ahead.
You can speak if you want to tell the audience, so the audience is clear about Dr. Emoto. You go ahead and you can dive a little deeper if you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, sounds great. So one of his experiments that I absolutely love is the rice experiment. So what he did is he took 3 jars of rice, and each jar had the same amount of water and the same amount of rice in it, and he did an experiment for 30 days. One of them he said, I love you too. And then the other jar he was mad at, was angry and cursed at, and said, I hate you, I'm angry with you. And the third one he totally ignored. And he did this for 30 days consistently. And after that 30 days, it's just phenomenal to see the difference in those 3 jars. The jar that he loved and cared for was and spoke good things toward was basically still white and still relatively clear, and then the one that he was angry with and cursed at, it was just gross and mildewy and disgusting. And the one he ignored was just as bad or worse than the one that he had cursed at. And it literally shows that your intentions and the thoughts and what you actually physically say have a physical impact on external things, which is just amazing. So fun to go look at those experiments on YouTube and see them, and then you see all the people who've done the same experiment, and they're just amazed. It's like, wow, this actually really works. And the one that I love, because I am a Christian, a man of God, and I love prayer, to pray to God. But it's actually your prayer. Dr. Emoto showed how you could pray over a bottle of water. He had 500 people pray over a bottle of water, and the structure of the water literally changed. And so it's just really cool to see those types of experiments. And then, so that's what led me to this quantum energy product and solution. We put those positive intentions and the right frequencies on these skin patches, and we even include Bible verses onto the patch as well. And we combine that physical skin patch with a guide. The guide has positive intentions that we want you to read out loud, so you're using multiple senses. You're using your eyes to read the guide, and you're saying the guide out loud, and you're hearing yourself read it. You're saying it out loud. When your eyes are using multiple senses in addition to the touch. So you're using 4 out of the 5 God-given senses that you have to help you with your issue. Like pain relief is the one that we usually start off with people, because you know if you have pain, right? If your back hurts, or your knee hurts, or your whatever hurts, your head hurts from a headache, you know when you're in pain, and you can apply the patch, and then after a certain number of either minutes or hours, sometimes even days, but after a certain time, it will start helping. And you can tell, you're like, oh my gosh, a few minutes ago I was in pain and now I'm not. And so it's really fun to show that to people. And that's been what our whole mission in life, in our company, is to really help people get off of those big pharma drugs. So my brother, who's a co-founder with me, had 2 of his best friends commit suicide from opioid, right? Addiction. And it's just, they had a surgery, or they had something wrong, and they got prescriptions for opioids, and then they just couldn't get off of them, and they kept taking them, and the addiction is just horrible. But it started off because of pain, right? So that was just like, that's why we're so excited about these pain management solutions, is we want people to try to do things as much as naturally as possible. And using our quantum energy skin patches for pain, they really help. And so that's our mission, is to try to get people to use these instead of opioids, and then even just over the counter drugs like Advil and Tylenol. And those are not real healthy for you. So the more
No.
you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
NSAIDs are so overly used, and for all of you out there, an NSAID is ibuprofen or Aleve. Even aspirin is an NSAID, and they're so overused, and they actually increase your risk for cardiac events. They increase your risk for GI bleeding. They destroy your gut health in general. I know, because that was part of my healing journey, suffering from chronic migraines for so many years. I was a chronic NSAID taker, because I pretty much had a headache every day until I changed my diet. So decades, at least 2
awesome.
decades. And
That's a
and as a pharmacist, like, I had to learn on my own, the damage that the NSAIDs can do to your body. So, anyway, I want to go back to a couple things that you said. The
yeah.
first, the Dr. Emoto studies and his experiments, and the fact that it's reproducible. So for any of you out there, if you ever are trying to figure out if something scientific or research based is valid, what we call valid in the scientific community, and one of the first things is, can it be reproduced in the lab and you get the same results? If so, that gives it weight, gives it gravity, gives it validity. So that's really important. So when we talk about Dr. Emoto and his research, it's not like one-off woo-woo, like, oh, that that happened for him, but it wouldn't happen for anybody else. No, it's been reproduced by many scientists over the years. So I think that's really important to point out for people. And then what else? Oh, yeah, I want to talk a little bit more. I loved how you said, like, you infuse the patches with the intention, and then you give a guidebook, and then also the Bible verses. So I also want to bring to light that part of, healing, but also, even if you wanted to go into the realm of manifestation, what helps that actually happen is, number one, your intention. And number two, bringing the energetic thought into the physical by speaking, by writing it down. And that's so you hear about all of these ways to help you manifest or heal something in your life. And we hear about mantras, we hear about meditation and prayer and journaling. And it is important to it makes it so much more powerful when you combine all of the modalities together, because each one of those has a vibration to it because each one of those is a form of energy. And when you bring all of them together, it's like an amplification. It's like when you have one singing bowl and you strike it, obviously it vibrates at a frequency. When you bring 5 singing bowls together, they actually amplify and resonate with each other. And it's the same. It sounds like the same thing that you're doing with your
Yeah.
work, what you love.
Amen. That's exactly right. I mean, because we want to do as much as we can to help people, right? And so
Mhm.
the more that we can combine, the more we think is the more effective the solution is going to be. So you can use our skin patches and that's it, and they will help you. But why not try to do add on the other things to just make it that much more effective. So that's why we created the guide, and that's why we have the specific prayers that are in it. We have the specific intentions that are in it to help people. So we could just use one piece of it, but why not combine as many as possible to make the products just that much more effective? So yeah, I totally agree with you, and I love that the example of the bowl, right? If you just have one, it's relatively not a lot of vibration, like you said, and that is so important because our body is made up of energy, and it reacts to other external vibrations, aka frequencies. So that's why when I talk about quantum energy and frequencies, people initially go, that sounds really strange," but frequencies are not strange at all. They're around us everywhere. We're talking over the radio. It's using a frequency to connect from one place to another, right? Your cell phone that you talk on every day and you watch is using frequencies to communicate. So, and light is a frequency, sound is a frequency. So it is all around us. And once you realize that, then you're like, oh, okay, so frequencies aren't strange, and oh, they can actually have a physical impact on something else and yourself. Then you start realizing, oh, okay, so these quantum energy skin patches are not strange at all. It's just this very similar thing that's happening all around us. It's just like you mentioned at one point that some of these things are aka hidden or suppressed, and they don't want us to know some of this stuff because it's going, if everybody could heal themselves or could get healthy themselves, then guess what? The pharmaceutical industry is in big trouble. So
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, as if you're a person that is aspiring to be, some sort of medical practitioner, then you're required to take, some physics and some chemistry, organic chemistry, and all of these things talk about energy. We talk about the components of the cell. What is the cell made up of? How does the cell vibrate? The electrons, especially in chemistry, like the periodic table is all about where the electron is sitting and what vibration is that putting out. But we never get to the point where we bring it all together in full circle and we and talk about applying that to the human body, ironically enough. So like we have to understand it in order to design a drug, because that but like in order to
right, right,
actually help our bodies heal by their own chemistry, which they can if we give them the tools, like we've both said in this episode so many times already. Um, that it's, and one of the reasons I do what I do also is because I want to give people a deeper understanding of how our beautiful bodies work, and knowing that we say so many mean things to ourselves that we're conditioned to say and think. And it starts with thoughts and then it becomes things that we say. And so, you know, understanding that even our thoughts have a vibration because they're made up of the words that we're thinking. And then, so if you're thinking them and saying them, then you can be amplifying your dis-ease and your inflammation in the same way that you could be amplifying your healing journey and the love for your body and the love for your life and all of, so it can go either way. It's just a matter of it being intentional about what we're thinking and what we're saying and how we're saying it, I think is really important.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. That's so exciting because you're right. It's like we are conditioned as a human being by by society to be negative towards ourselves, which is bad. I mean, it's like because you what you're saying is accurate, that you can speak positive thoughts over yourself and your family and your spouse and or your children, or your friends. You know, you can speak light into them, or you can
Mm-hmm.
speak darkness into them. And that's the same way with yourself, and even your self talk internally, right? With even thoughts that you have about yourself, they can be the same way. If you think positive things are going to happen. You know, even in the Bible, it says, "As a man thinketh, he is." Right. So you literally can change your body. You can change things about yourself just by what you're thinking. So I love that we're on the same page on a lot of things, and we've never met. So it's like
Yeah.
so fun to have a like-minded person. One of the things you mentioned early on too was, I think, really important, and is I want everybody to really understand, is the healing of the body starts in the core, starts in your gut, right? So you need to get your gut healthy. You learned that, obviously, it sounds like, from this journey that you had to go on
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You know,
Yes.
and if we could get everybody to understand that in this country or in this world, then so many people are going to be able to help themselves with so many other issues, if they can start at the core, start at your gut, and give to your body the energy and the nutrition it needs to do what it will do naturally. And then as you can help with that, and that's what I've been digging into a lot, is all natural health. I'm working on a book that combines, quantum energy and frequencies and all natural health, just because I think that's so important. So I've been digging into cold therapy and light therapy and hot, cold and heat, and just nutrition. All the things that we're talking about is just stuff that I want to get out in the and shine a light on it, because it's like people need to understand that this is the way our bodies are, and there's things you can do naturally to really change your condition, whatever that condition may be. And so I'm not saying it's going to solve everything, but I do know it's going to help a lot of people in a lot of ways. And I love modern medicine. I love the modern doctors. I love the modern nurses. I mean, they've been trained, but they've just been trained on specific topics and specific things. Like you mentioned, it's like, okay, we're going to go learn how to create a drug to solve this particular issue, versus how can we naturally solve that issue, right? And but that's the way they've been trained. That's what the medical schools train them to do. And then the specialization, I think, is also kind of a problem, in the respect that they're experts at maybe the heart, or they're experts at the liver, or they're experts in teeth, right? But they're not experts in the body, and how the body works and how it all interacts. And that's why I love people that are in functional medicine, because they really are understanding how our bodies do work and how we can change them. And that's what we're trying to do with QE Strong, is to use these frequencies to help people. We have solutions for pain relief and allergy relief, and premenopausal and postmenopausal, and strength and stamina and sleep. So a lot of these issues that people anti-anxiety, that's a big one, right? A lot of people are so stressed out
Mm-hmm.
right now, and we have these solutions that can just help people. One of the other big ones that, with COVID, I got COVID, right? A lot of people got COVID, and one of the side effects of getting COVID is what's called brain fog. And
Mm-hmm.
lots of people have that, where they just having trouble clearly thinking. And so we've developed a solution that we call the clarity and focus. And so it really helps you with focusing and with having clarity of your thoughts. And to really people who are struggling with brain fog, it's an awesome solution. You put a little patch on, you say the intentions and prayer, and you feel so much better. You can think clearly, you focus on the tasks that you need to get done, and it's really helping people. So that's what I like most, is just hearing the stories of our customers, and how it's really transforming their lives, which is pretty exciting.
That is super exciting. What about children and animals? Do they also respond and benefit?
They do, and that's what's so great about it. We're obviously not trying to market towards children, and we're not trying to. We actually do have a pet product, but just from the FDA perspective and the regulations, we're trying to stay as away from any of the trouble that we could get
Mm-hmm.
in. But it's children are made up of the same way, right? They have frequencies. Their bodies interact with frequencies. So a lot of children are using our solutions. And then, funny enough, when we first started, we had a number of our customers that uh, have their pets use the pain product. So we have one of our products is an actual card, looks like a credit card, and a number of our customers were telling us like, "Hey, our my dog comes and grabs my card and takes it to his bed with him, and he literally sleeps on the card." And that dog could tell that there was a frequency on that and energy, and liked the result that the dog was getting from it. And so we started testing it on some animals, and it would be now we've got a product called Pep and Pain, because we've got strength and stamina combined with pain relief for pets.
Oh,
And
cool.
so it's really neat product. So any dogs that are older that are struggling with pain and or just need a little peppiness, the product's awesome because it gives them a little peppiness as well as relieves their pain. So lots of dogs with joint and issues. It's an awesome thing for dogs to get a little older and need a little peppiness. The product's awesome for. So pretty
Well,
exciting stuff.
that is exciting. Anything else you want to tell people how to find you and any socials or emails or websites, any of that good stuff?
Yeah, sounds great. So obviously the main place to find us is at qestrong.com. And in fact, what you should do is use the coupon code Dr. Laura, DRLARA, and you'll get a 15% discount when you use that code. And then we can also bless her show with that. And so it helps everybody. It's going to help you with good products and help Dr. Laura, and as well as help us. And then the other thing I've done recently is created a newsletter called My Faith and Health. So it's really simple. It's myfaithandhealth.com. And it's a great newsletter where literally every week I talk about a faith topic, I talk about a health topic, and then I talk about a mighty man and a majestic woman. So we highlight people who are really trying to help the world and do good things. And we have even some Bible trivia as part of it, which is kind of fun. So sign up to that newsletter. It's awesome and informative. And then find us at QE Strong and use the coupon code DRLARA.
That's all of that sounds wonderful, and I'm really excited for your work and everything that you're putting out into the world. I'm a true believer in what we put out is what we get back. So just trying to be as much of, a light and a lighthouse in this crazy world that we live in as possible.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
also, any final thoughts or anything before we finish up?
Well, Dr. Lawrence, just what a pleasure to meet you. Just love what you're doing, and I did do some research on you and your show, and just really fun to see your transition and what you're doing, how you're doing that exact same thing. You're really out to help people, and I'm trying to do the same thing. So I think we're on of like mind and really trying to help people. So thank you for what you do, and I look forward to having people, follow me on my journey because I'm just getting started. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, so make sure everyone you go check out qestrong.com and also sign up for the myfaithandhealing.com newsletter.
Yeah, it's my
Those
faith and health. My faith
and
and health.
health,
Yep.
myfaithandhealth.com. Yes.
Perfect.
Um, yes, and there'll be a show notes page on my website, drlaramay.com/podcast. That's where all of the show notes live for all of the episodes. And so, yeah, I encourage you to, you know, always keep asking questions, keep being curious, keep digging. If you're told something or you hear something that doesn't quite sound right or resonate with you, look deeper, ask more. And, we live in an amazing information age. So answers are out there. We just have to, find the all the good sources, I suppose, is the best way to say it. So, and follow your heart, really. That's how we know, what's right and wrong for us is our higher beings, our higher selves, God, guides us. And so if you get that little inkling of, ooh, this doesn't feel right, or that's your intuition, that's your guidance, yeah, your spiritual guidance. So don't be afraid to follow that. And that's a whole nother episode, but I will leave it there. So thank you, everyone. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you today, Rob. It was great to meet you. I'm excited for your work. And yeah, maybe we'll have you back just to continue the conversation.
Sounds good. We have a lot to talk about, which is
Yes.
exciting. We could go down
Awesome.
each one of those rabbit holes for an hour in and of itself. So,
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
goodbye.